All right, guys. So a couple days ago, we finished Defenders in one long haul stint,
Yeah.
and we're just gonna go over some thoughts we had since letting it all sit in.
Yeah, so those videos should be up by now. I assume that'll happen in order. But yeah, we've had time to reflect on it. The main thing that I think we didn't get into, or that I wanted to talk about, right when you finish something, you're still high off of it, you're not sure, whatever the fuck. I don't know if there's even been enough time, but have we thought about where it fits into the grand scheme of things?
Do you mean timeline or its slot of how good it was?
Ranking the various Netflixy things. Does it take over your top slot? Does it get knocked off by some things?
I don't know. So I have mixed opinions. Like the great the cheesy smile moments were pretty good in this one.
The cheesy smile moments. What the fuck does that mean?
Like something happens, you're like, oh yeah, like a cool moment.
There
were a good amount of those, but
there was some good fan service with all these people, right? It was a big deal.
But I don't know if it was my favorite one. I think Jessica Jones solo was still my favorite.
Damn,
one.
That's great. So I thought I liked Jessica Jones more than most people, but you like it, I think, a little more than me.
I thought it was
which is pretty great.
Very well done because not only was it the first, so you always remember your first.
The first? What do you mean?
Well, that was the first one that I really got into.
Oh, you didn't watch Daredevil?
I watched Daredevil, but I didn't like Daredevil, the first one.
Really?
I had to watch it again before I liked it.
Holy fucking! I didn't know this about you. I feel cheated. I feel lied to.
I watched Daredevil. I watched like 2 episodes, and then I watched all of Jessica Jones, and then I went back.
And then you're like hashtag not my Daredevil, hashtag Marvel's fucked up or whatever.
No, it was just something that I didn't get
know
into
this.
off the bat, and it was something 'cause I started watching with my girlfriend, and then
It's her fault. Yeah.
I was like, all right, and then she wasn't around, so I didn't pick it up. And I was like, all right, I'm done with it.
And then you were like, and nothing of value was lost. Fuck off. And you just stopped watching it.
And, but then Jessica Jones tore through
Okay.
in a day. That was great. I liked a lot of Luke Cage, but then it kind of let me down toward the end.
Luke Cage loses major points for that, how the whole thing ends. We talked about this in those videos, but yeah, it was. So I can't rank that as the highest thing or whatever.
Like Luke Cage as a character, I think I like the most.
Yeah.
But they display enough bad things that I don't like his show the most.
Daredevil,
I
haven't rewatched anything.
Cast a lot.
Yeah, I have not rewatched anything, so I'm in kind of a situation where if I think about rewatching it, so if I think about the shows, I go, that was good, that was cool, that was cool too. I can't choose which one's my favorite. They're so good. And then it's like, would you like to rewatch this? Then I'm like, that gets really slow in the middle there when you're like, get on, I know, let's get on with it, fuck. All of them have those moments with slowness, with pacing issues or something like that. So I go back and forth.
It's like season 2, once the Punisher.
The Punisher thing is so good.
That's all ridiculous. That part's so good.
I'm not a huge fan of Elektra even, and that whole other subplot. I hate when characters let their hair grow 1 inch and put on a tight T-shirt, and then it's oh, it's me 10 years ago. I'm not a big. That happened in Batman Begins and shit. I'm like, so you're not fooling anybody. Please stop this. I know. I've never liked that, but I didn't really like Elektra's character or the whole plot with her. But the first half, or the first half with the little at the end of the Punisher business, was so good that it totally outweighs that, and it puts that really high. The hallway fight.
The Punisher's hallway fight alone kind of makes that almost the best one.
Well, and even Daredevil's hallway fight, where he pulls the trigger and it just goes click, and then you see him smile, and then it's this long tracking shot in the staircase and all this other bullshit. The whole thing, and the speeches and the talking and the fucking thing. Punisher in the pawn shop with the guy who's like, you like him young? And then he's like, closed. And then fucking just walks off camera. Oh, God, shit's so good. Fuck.
Overall,
might be the best.
It's a winning. Netflix teaming up with Marvel was just such a win.
It's a positive experience, definitely. I can't say it's been a bad thing.
So what is the next one coming out?
Well, so that's some of the stuff too. This is not in chronological order, but we have now researched what's happening. So okay, let me just say a little bit here. At the end, so I was so offended by the implications that I thought I was seeing, that that they were alluding to the plot line in the comics where Danny Rand takes over Daredevil's gig or something like that.
I never thought that was going to happen.
No, but my main complaint was it looks like they're backhandedly hinting at a similar thing happening or some shit like that, when that makes no sense to do here. Why are you setting this up or something? It's crazy.
We will see the Iron Fist costume in the next one.
Yeah.
Daredevil still out of commission. Iron Fist patrolling Hell's Kitchen.
That's
the only implication I took from this.
And that makes 100% total sense. And as I thought more about the series after watching it, or something like that, I realized that like Defenders was also kind of Iron Fist 1.5 or something like that, because it centers around him a lot. Like
Sure.
the overall plot, he is the key to open like the door. He has all this guilt about Daredevil's death, and he's kind of mature because it opens with him in China. They're hunting the Hand, right?
Cambodia.
Fucking okay. Where is Cambodia? And is it near China?
Relatively.
Okay. It starts with them over in Southeast Asia or whatever, and hunting the Hand, not in America, right? She even says like, "Oh, we're home," and he's like, "I don't know, fucking whatever." And she's like, "No, this is home. It's a big deal."
Yeah.
And I think the whole series was kind of about that, and this might be their excuse to rapidly mature his character and make him not flawed in all the same ways that cause all the problems in like Defenders, where he's immature and like impulsive. He's still gonna have some of that, but this might be a cool thing where
He had it through
when,
all of this season.
yeah.
So we'll see about the next season.
well, at the end, he's like, "Wow," he said to to like protect his city. Fuck, and like he whispered that to me. He chose me to say that to, as we were all fucking leaving. Like, oh fuck. So I think I'm hoping that this is their excuse, like narratively, to be like, when next we meet Danny Rand, he's gonna be a little like better, a little grown, a little more whatever. And I hope we see the costume
I don't
too.
think too much of a character advancement will happen.
Yeah.
I think it might be asking a little much because his character is like that immature shitbag.
Oh, is that his like comic book
Well,
like
that's
thing?
at least what they're portraying, and I don't
Okay.
think that's going to leave too much.
I think I hope it'll be soft and not used as like an excuse for plot things where it's like if Danny Rand wasn't being what's the word, reckless or something, selfish, whatever the fuck, then
Both
like
of
the
those
plot
work.
can't advance, because that was part of my like critical things. It's like, holy shit, you fucked up this, you fucked up this, you fucked up that, and
That's
that
generally his theme.
it kind of caused the plot. I don't like that though. I hope that they change that.
So what do we have? What is the order of operations here?
Yeah, so it ends like that. Daredevil's in like the monastery, and we kind of said some Catholic monastery. So so we kind of said like, well, wait, which one's first? Like, are there going to be other series where where Daredevil's like still there? And it looks like in 2018, right, we're going to get Jessica Jones and Luke Cage.
Well, we've already had 2 seasons of Daredevil, so it makes sense to give us something
Totally.
else.
And we don't even know when. So like, we're going to get Punisher before this year ends, and then next year we're going to get Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, right? Jessica Jones opened her business again, right? So there's going to be cases in those in that series. Going to be good. Can probably run into Iron Fist. Daredevil may not even be back yet, right?
Yeah, it's certainly possible.
And Daredevil's going to be away, right? Injured, out of commission when the Punisher, has to do some shit in town, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be good. Luke Cage chilling out with the night nurse, chilling, whatever. That might be, if that is in fact second or whatever. I think Jessica Jones comes out first.
I would assume just by
feel like
nature
it
of it
does.
came out first. It's
Yeah,
round
I think
2
I
would
heard
come out first.
the announcement first or whatever. But then the Luke Cage thing might be like, because he's like, hey, I have a home life here. I'm trying to keep my nose clean. I tried to, like mess with one fucking thing, and it led to like the world almost got destroyed, and I got wrapped up in all that shit. So he's probably gonna be like,
He's got a lot of things hanging in
Yeah.
the wind though, so like
Yeah.
those could all be back for his season.
oh yeah,
too.
yeah. No, it's gonna be great because he's gonna be like, I just want to go home to Claire. I promised her I wouldn't fuck up again. And then they're gonna be like, listen, we need you, and he's gonna be like,
The thing
like
I
that.
don't like though, now that you've established a group and like
Yeah.
friends or whatever you want to call them, you now have. Anytime a big bad happens, it's like, well, why didn't he just call Jessica? Why is
Yeah.
Iron Fist not here? And I think they have the ability to do that because it wasn't a one-off thing. They still own these people, and they can do that. But if they don't do that, I'll be really frustrated.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is I think we've taken Daredevil, they've very smartly taken Daredevil out of commission. Like we might not see him for like one human year.
I don't think
with
we'll
the
see him
shows.
until Daredevil season 3.
Yeah, but that will make sense because it's not like, why don't they call Daredevil? Like you either need legal help or you need Daredevil's like fighting help. Like you never don't need Daredevil in some capacity. But this is great because now this explains why they're not just going to call Daredevil.
But
And
it won't
there's
explain why they don't call Jessica or Danny or
potentially, yeah. We'll see how they
pretty much all of them. Any issue they have, one
Yeah.
of those 3 people can solve it.
Oh, no, no.
Man, I just need
Yeah.
rent money. Call Danny. Oh man, this fridge is heavy. Call Luke. Oh
Yes.
man, can someone just bitch slap this hoe? Jessica, get over here.
Jessica, can you tear things off and break and enter and bend the rules?
So we'll see if this frustrates me or not. But I do think Netflix will not disappoint me. I think we will see more crossovers continuously through all these episodes.
And I think, in all fairness, like, I agree with you, but they might just throw in, like, the one line that kind of, like, explains it. And it might be a lame thing, but at least they're acknowledging, like, well, I should call Jessica, but we kind of left things in a weird spot or something, like, some shit like that.
Honestly, putting Luke back in jail wouldn't have been the worst thing.
Oh, just to get him out of the game. Because he's indestructible, which is awkward, so, right? Because he's just going to have to be making the choice not to get involved. I could see Danny not wanting to call him, though, after everything.
No, I can see everything, but when it comes down to, like, the city will be destroyed, or it's always the call.
Oh, no, and I think that would be a valid criticism if something that bad happens, because hopefully it will just be like, it's just douchebaggy, some kind of ninja, I'll just handle it, right? As opposed to, like,
I guess, but the moment any innocents get hurt, it's like, why didn't you just call?
Why didn't you just... Yeah. That's a criticism in general of a lot of stuff where, like, whenever anything happens...
I think Netflix can actually get past that and like, no, they did. They handled it. But, we'll see Jessica Jones.
Yeah, I think super smart move, though, with the Daredevil thing, which I didn't call out, as much, because I didn't really picture when the series were coming out, but this is, like, perfect to me.
Or he's back in the first episode of the next person's thing.
Or it's like him and Punisher back to back, being like, doing stuff.
Well, we don't even know the timeline of when the Punisher's taking place.
I know you made a comment like that before. I don't think it's going to be a prequel for some reason.
But like
it might be.
It could be a thing that dances between timelines,
flashbacks and stuff.
It could be the first one that happened, but it could happen 3 years later in the universe, and then like, oh no, Jessica Jones season 2 happens before that. I'm not saying these things happen, but we have no reason to believe anything yet.
Yeah, they can do anything they want, totally. No, I'm hyped. The last thing, real quick.
Sure.
So, thinking more about it, and no one's accused them of doing this, but I predict that some people will, the, like, bait and switch aspect of, like, the villain or something like that. Does that seem valid? So, like...
What do you mean by that?
So, Sigourney Weaver does some kung fu, and it was shockingly good, but really early on I was like, ugh, I don't want Sigourney Weaver doing kung fu or, like, turning into a monster and doing kung fu. This is going to be really awkward or whatever. And then we go, well, we have Elektra, obviously, so maybe it's like a body snatch swap thing happens. There's some explanation, or like there's a dark ritual, and they're trying to suck some stuff into something. That's weird, whatever. But then how it plays out, Elektra just kills Sigourney Weaver, and then basically as if she did body snatcher, then she just becomes the like villain pulling all the strings and doing all the plans or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but never doing it as well as Sigourney Weaver, not doing it with a thought process. They never really said anything that made us like definitively think a body swap or anything was happening. You just kind of said it at one point, and we were like, yeah, that can work, and we kind of ran with it.
Because there had to be some excuse to not have Sigourney Weaver just doing kung fu. Against all 4 of them at once, right?
Yeah, but you can also just have her not do it, which is what they did.
Well, I know. Okay, so they spend a lot of time setting up her as, like, the villain, and it narratively is fine and makes sense and kind of is, like, okay that, Elektra killed her and, like, took over or something like that. But I don't know. It on a certain level, it feels kind of weird to me that you had one villain, like, and that was, like, the whole thing was motivated by that or, like, whatever, and then you were just like, okay, now it's the other one.
Pretty much every one of these series, I think barring, like, one Daredevil season, I'm always like, they end badly.
Oh, okay.
Like,
did you think this ending was bad? Or was there like a
In general, all like, I'll count this as like a mini series, and almost every mini series that ever existed has a shit ending. And this, it did. It had that kind of like, all right, what? That didn't fully explain the things that happened. You kind of summed that up quickly. All right, that was bad.
Yeah, it did feel like things like ramped up in speed towards the end, but to the point where the wheels started coming off, you didn't have full coverage, right?
Yeah.
It was a little like
no, because it didn't even fully explain
the elevator.
Well, the elevator, of course not. And he means it didn't hit the ground. But no, like the earthquakes. Like, what the hell was that? Like, what were they? How did that happen?
Okay.
What was the thing? If the earthquakes were simply them trying to explode the door open? Because what else could it be? That had to be the only.
I was gonna say, right? So like,
why was it felt so far away? Why would an explosion 500 feet down or 300 feet, as that one geologist said, I think?
Yeah, on the phone. Yeah.
Why would that cause like the whole fucking city of Manhattan to shake?
And
it wouldn't. And are they dropping nukes down there?
And if if it had something, so it could.
And if they are, wouldn't the building just collapse?
Right. So it couldn't have been just digging the hole, because then Why did they stop, until the end of the show? I mean, it was just a few days, I guess, but still. And it can't be if they were fucking with the magical door and it was tearing reality apart or something like that. But then, and they never explained why taking the dragon fossil bones would have destroyed New York either.
No.
So
that's why it's all like a thing.
Is there like a cut thing where it's like, you don't understand? It doesn't just keep them out. It also maintains the fucking blah, 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 like something,
no,
right?
It was something that was missed that, and every show does this, and it always annoys me. Where I'm like,
but that
have
was,
a child watch it once, and then if they have a problem, listen to them, then fix it.
Because that was the whole, stakes. It was like New York's going to be the, several times they just vaguely say, oh, cities rise and fall. This is one of many.
Blowing up one building's fine. It'll get blown up in a minute anyway. What?
like you'll be alive thousands of years from now, and New York will just be a vague memory because we're so much better and we have to do this. Do what exactly? Take the bones. Okay, how does that destroy New York? I don't know. Magic?
It's unthought out, I think. And
interesting. No. But don't worry. They can steal the last of the bones and then ride the elevator that goes up so slowly. It's like a glacier climbing the shaft, and that'll get away in time to not be destroyed with the rest of the city or whatever.
I have to believe she has some sort of whoosh, teleporting chi or something.
I like that. Sigourney Weaver or Gao?
Well, I was thinking Gao. But
yeah. No. I'm sure Gao's tunneling through with her chi, going all the way back to China.
Causing earthquakes constantly.
Just a constant array of earthquakes.
Yeah.
But
yes, that's kind of the thoughts of Defenders.
So would you say Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Defenders? Is that a solid ranking?
I wouldn't slouch out on Daredevil season 2.
It's too good, I know. Even Daredevil season 1, I feel like is now getting because it doesn't make the cut against a lot of these, and I admit that. Mm-hmm. But that shit with Vincent, D'Onofrio's background and learning about the painting and all that was really good.
Yeah.
They all have good things in them.
I think we can all agree Iron Fist is the worst one.
Oh no, okay.
You
defended Iron Fist vehemently.
Well, because it's not a bad show, but it's the worst of the shows.
Okay.
And that's like the kind of thing where you're like, oh, you have 3 kids. Which one's your best kid? Well, I love them all, but someone's better than the other ones.
I don't love Iron Fist was adopted. This is my take. This is my hot take.
But
it's hard to rank them. I understand.
Yeah.
And I didn't think about this beforehand, and nor am I going to put you on the spot and demand a ranking.
And Jessica Jones had David Tennant, and that just that gave it so much.
David Tennant gives it some points
too.
too.
Good, and the show was good, and a lot of cool things happened. And there was a lot of stupid shit in that too. So everything has stupid shit.
There totally was, but there's something to be said for I think of all the bad endings, the Jessica Jones ending was the best bad ending, right? Yeah.
That one arguably wasn't even a bad ending. It was just it just ended.
Right. That's what I mean too, though.
Yeah.
There wasn't an epic thing. She just happened to be able to resist him. They didn't really set up why.
Worst ending might be Luke Cage, honestly.
Yeah.
That fight was fucking dog shit.
No, I'm glad to hear you say that, and I wonder that we infect each other with our opinions. But no, I've said this.
Some of these things are just obvious.
I've said this a million times, and I'll take 15 seconds to say it now. All of Luke Cage is about how the political people are untouchable and he's indestructible and they're at this cold war with each other, and then they kill off Cottonmouth and they introduce a guy who has a suit that lets him punch and get punched like Luke Cage, and it becomes a punching contest. It becomes Rock'em Sock'em Robots in Harlem. That's retarded.
If it didn't look so dumb, it might be okay, but it just...
Kevin Smith went crazy. They were like, oh, they got Diamondback from the comics. He's wearing the suit.
That's the problem for me, is that if you look at almost all the comic book heroes... Yeah. Their suits are reminiscent of that of a comic book, but you can't make the fucking comic book suit because comic books don't translate directly to live action. It didn't look good at all.
I finally, in a little video, because remember Jamie Foxx's Shocker or whatever from Spider-Man? I just watched a video where someone was talking about it, and they showed Shocker in the comics, which I've never read Spider-Man. The fucking weird star head where someone was like, that's better, and the guy was like, what are you talking about? What?
There's one after that.
Arguably no worse. Okay.
There's one where he's in fishnets with a red type, and he actually looked like
he looks
that
cool.
Sounds dumb, but it's actually a very cool costume.
But this was the weird it's a lightning bolt of stars on his head or something. Arguing, oh, skip the costume's the same, but that's practical.
They don't always translate, and that's just the thing. Things that are drawn, because things can be drawn in a way where it can't exist in reality.
Yeah, you can't have all those pouches on the Rob Liefeld drawings.
No, but
all right.
I would rank this as like the second worst ending of all of them, just because of how long and drawn out it was. But you kind of needed that because you had to sum up the ending of like all these different characters.
So, right, the ending. Yeah.
So I give it a pass, and I want the next one to be better because there should be no exposition needed. It just jumps right into it and be good. It's not already slated, but I'm hoping that we'll have that in like a year or two.
I hope every round we just do a Defenders, and like you're saying, it just becomes this neat little, every 2 or whatever
But
years.
honestly, it wouldn't be the worst thing is if there was never a Defenders again.
Okay.
But in every season, you have a meetup of some point for things.
Yeah,
then it just becomes life in New York, and that's how things would work. We don't always have to be at like a fucking clubhouse ready to go.
No, I would really like if in every season they had cameo / brief thing from like one of the actual heroes, and then maybe in like the finale we're getting help or whatever, Even how Punisher shows up with his gun in like Daredevil season 2, just something of like we're gonna help you in like the fight, or like meanwhile, or like I will fight the robot, henchman of the guy, and then you can go fight the guy or something. Just something. Right? I'll hold him off. Go, and stuff like that.
So that's the thoughts, guys. Let us know what you thought about Defenders, and we'll see you next time. Don't die in a fire.